Welcome to the podcast that's supernatural and super listenable. It's the Rogue Sun Podcast. I'm Matt, and I'm joined by Charlie. How's it going, Charlie?
Oh man, kind of struggling through it right now. Been super sick over the holidays, but made it through Christmas and went on my fun trip to Cleveland before Christmas time. So got through all the important stuff, and just nice to kind of get out of bed finally and talk about Rogue Sun. This was kind of something that got me through the sick days.
Right?
So yeah, going good. How are you, man?
Pretty good. The holidays were wild. Been working retail for the first time during the holiday season in like 7 years at a much busier store. So really, really to Wendell there. I know it's a little radiant black stuff, but yeah, it's been a super tiring holiday, and it felt like it was right back to work. But I had a great time. Good times with loved
Good.
ones. You had a good holiday, other than getting sick.
Yeah, my mom, she was kind of the only one. She was like out completely. Wasn't able to do anything over
Uh,
Christmas, but we had the grandparents over. My sister came back from the UK. I haven't seen her in a long time. So it was good to see her, good to see everyone, and yeah, gonna be not too excited to get back into the work schedule, but we all knew it was coming at some point.
That reminds me. One time my mom got sick on Christmas, but it's because I gave her edibles, and like she knew, but like she always has trouble sleeping. Like she's a psychologist, so like the amount of shit that she's heard, and plus like, you know, she's super active in mind. So yeah, I gave her some edibles, and she was like, she got pretty sick. I felt super bad, but she covered for me, and I was like, wow, that's what Christmas is all about. It's like lying for your
That's
family.
amazing.
But yeah, I
That's a
thought,
family spirit right there.
yeah, I
That's
thought I'd
good
throw in a
stuff.
little like podcast story there. But yeah, this. Anyways, we're bearing the lead. This was a hell of an issue. This was, we got some answers. Like a few things happened, and
Hell yeah.
I was pretty. I read this right before I went to bed the other night. Boxing Day is such a weird time to drop a comic, but I'll take a Rogue Sun issue whatever day. Even if it's like leap year or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, what'd you
this was a
think?
weird one. Yeah, it was a weird one. Like one day, kind of. It's normally on the Wednesday. Kind of, everything came on the Thursday this week. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was nice to get into it. We knew this was going to be a big one. Obviously, the end of an arc. So
yeah.
these are always super fun, going into. And yeah, Ryan Parrott always gives us great stuff. So actually, before we get into it, have you had a chance to read any Vicarious yet?
Yeah, I read the first two issues, and like that shit's wild. It's probably better I was not on an episode on that, because like that, I don't even know how you talk about that in like yeah, safe context. But we keep pushing the boundaries in the Massiverse, and this is wild. Like I thought it was really cool. Named after a great Tool song. Probably not. Probably just a coincidence. But I thought it was really cool. I was into it. It was wild. It
Yeah,
was like erratic, and it felt like a Black Mirror episode or something, which is always a high
hundred
praise
percent.
from me.
One
Yeah,
hundred percent. Yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna do issue 3 soon at some point. So definitely can't wait to get all your guys' thoughts on that one. Because yeah, it
yeah,
definitely has been the most batshit, uh, definitely story he's come out with. I think it's only slated for 5 issues right now, so we're kind of already passing
yeah.
that midpoint and coming to the end. But yeah, no, it's been a killer story.
Well, like we saw, like when we talked to Ryan about the Infernals, right? He was saying he had like a list of ideas that he was pitching and stuff. So I know he's got like a treasure trove of concepts that he's taking the time to unearth. So even though we got some delays in Rogue Sun, you can still enjoy Vicarious and some other stuff. You haven't checked out the Infernals too. I mean, that's a banger,
Yes, yes, 100%.
which we've covered.
And yeah, yeah. So yeah, right before we get into this, we'll just give the credits here, for this awesome issue 24. We still don't have. Oh yeah, so yeah, we got Ryan Parrott and Nick Cotton. We got that killer writing duo. We got Abel on the art. Natalia Marquez doing the colors. Becca Carey letters. Stefano Simeone. Continuing to do these awesome covers, and I believe Bash sent a letter in that got talked about. I believe it was last issue or 2 issues ago, and it looks like Stefano's going to be doing the next couple covers as well. So he's going to be continuing doing that stuff, which is great. We got Wesley Griffith, production artist, phonographics, logo designer, and the amazing Michael Pizzuto as the editor and designer. Um, yeah, well, what a team! What a team! So yeah, we start right off. I've been loving getting this deep dive into Dottie and kind of all her flashbacks and everything. Definitely been learning lots and lots about her, which has been kind of for me kind of, not a blank spot, but definitely a spot of the story and these characters that I've really wanted to kind of know more about. So these I think the last 3 issues, these 3 flashbacks really have been awesome, and we finally get to learn more about what the perfection is and kind of
Yeah.
how divinity was brought back to life. What did you think of this intro here?
This was good. I like to actually see it happen. You know, showing not telling is nice sometimes. So to actually see what we talked about and we're getting into is nice to see more fleshed out, and we get a new character and we get more on Dottie. I thought this was wild. Like later on, I could kick myself for not realizing Dottie would get brought back. Like I was so pissed. I'm like, of course
Dude,
that they would go
dude, I
back
know
and do that.
you were on the last review, or were you?
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
think so.
Yes, yeah, we were. Yeah, I remember we were all just shocked, and it was
Yeah,
just such a sad moment. But it was also a moment where like she has way too much like meat on those bones to
yeah.
like just kill her off like that. So yeah,
It's
no, it
It's
was
like killing off Cecil or something. It's when the series is young. It's like we have that character that has like a lot of
exactly.
answers or more know-how. She needs to be there as a guide, Dylan, even if it's that like like a source that's not his father, so we can get like uh, more objective information on the universe, not like his dad hiding stuff from him, which we learned Marcus is doing a lot of this issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get back into it. This was a great opening. This was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really was the perfection. It looks super cool. Got a lot of blue colors and stuff here, and it kind of definitely by the name, the perfection.
Yeah,
Kind of not surprised by the look here. It really does seem like a more like angelic
yeah,
place compared to all like the hellscapes and stuff we've kind of been to at this point. But I love how kind of like, and I don't know about you, but these angels are very much reminding me of what Ryan did in the Infernals here. Like just
yeah.
not very like not as wholesome as you would quite imagine, making lots of deals, doing lots of stuff. So yeah, I really can't wait to learn more of this side of
Yeah.
things.
It's kind of bland if angels are just 100% good, and there's shows like Supernatural and who Ryan knows Eric Kripke, like they're friends. We got the pull quote from him, and Supernatural has the similar interpretation of angels. Like same thing if demons are just all evil. It'd be cool to see some that are like less evil or have different things in mind. Like the Internals explore the Infernals explore that a lot. If I can talk about it, but yeah. I like it, and I really do like the angelic look of it. It's different than what we see, and there could be ties to Morningstar too.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good show for sure. And yeah, we see Dottie in here, and I think the big part of this and kind of Dottie and Divinity's relationship that goes into that is the love they have for one another, but like the things they will do to I guess save each other without I guess asking each other's permission, like kind of the lengths they will go to I guess save each other. Even though
Yeah,
we heard, kind of not to skip too much, but we heard Dottie last issue saying, "Do not bring me to the perfection. Like this is it. This is your new task. Like I
hmm
don't want to be brought back," because she also knows kind of the things that the darker stuff and the deals I guess you have to make
yeah,
to kind of go through this whole thing. But yeah, the new character we get to meet, he just looks here. He's got a nice white suit on and just yeah, looking very angelic like.
yeah. He should be
And
called Suave, not our
suave,
other,
yes.
yeah, not our other
Yeah,
villain here. But no, cool look with the cane and stuff like that. And obviously, there's a history.
yeah, and we do. He is revealed to be Dottie's
Brother
brother
Micah.
Micah. Yeah,
No, this
which
is
is
brother
super
Micah.
interesting.
I don't know if it's her brother. I think it could be
Oh,
like brother Micah,
oh,
like a religious thing. Yeah, yeah.
oh
At
my
least that's my
gosh,
interpretation.
bro! No, no, you're
Yeah,
hundred
because
percent
it's
right.
not this is your uncle. Yeah, yeah.
That's so
Anyways,
funny. Yeah, no, that's how I read it like two times going through this issue,
that
because and it
works.
made me wonder like why did they not talk about him? I was wondering, oh, is it the older, the younger brother?
Yeah,
But no, that definitely
yeah. They
makes a
would
lot
know.
more sense. Yeah, so yeah, thank you about that
Yeah,
one.
just
So
like the
yeah,
religious brother,
no idea
whatever.
what this character's about. Then I had a couple guesses before, but now I have zero guesses about what this
Well, I'm glad
character
I
could be
caught you before
about.
that. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
he does
I
seem
thought
very shady. He does seem very shady to say
yeah,
the
and he
least.
says like, by the way, full spoilers for the issue. Go read the book if you want to. I want this on the shelf, so definitely pick this up if you can. This was cool. He says like divinity. It's almost like it's almost like you were meant for us or whatever, meant to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing is just the pure impact of the event of divinity getting dying and coming back. It's not just you come back with the consequences. Obviously, there's the debt that she's like involved with these guys now, but the effect that she's involved with magic, which her mother hates, right? So she kind of like it hindered the bond with her mother and made her closer to Dottie. Obviously going through a traumatic experience like that, Dottie did care about her and feel guilt, which is going to make that relationship more intense. But then obviously she feels neglected by her mother, and Dottie is basically like her mother, as we learned later on, that she views her
Yeah.
basically as a mother.
Yeah,
So yeah,
which is interesting because we know Divinity's mother last issue was like, I don't care what you got to do, like get
bring
her
her back.
back by any means necessary. So
Yeah,
I don't even think she really thought of the repercussions that could happen and how, yeah, Divinity does gain her life back, but we see it's definitely not as simple as that, and
no,
there's a lot of ties. That she has kind of locked to the perfection now, which is scary. But I definitely Dottie knew what was to be expected. But at the end of the day, like she had this ability, she knew about this thing. Like she couldn't really just let Divinity die. So I definitely get that side of
yeah,
things.
but yeah, it's like what comes back as a jaded person. You're not gonna get something like with something like a death like that. Are you gonna get the same person back? Like, there's always a catch with magic and trauma and all this stuff. Divinity is completely different, and maybe this was her destiny, right? Like, who knows what she would have been like if she just made it to that motocross thing, and got to have a great
Hundred
time and grew up
percent.
with them. She'd be way closer with her mother, and maybe her and Dottie would be estranged if she wasn't as into the magic. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, and I absolutely love this kind of explanation Micah gives here. That Divinity, she wasn't necessarily dead yet. She was kind of more of like a lost soul, a cup per se that was tumbling through the air. Just before it smashed on the floor, we caught
Yeah,
her. So now the deal is Micah gives her a few drops to fill that cup, but he didn't fill it completely. So now she has to do all these sorts of missions. She's got to bring back these monsters, and the scarier the monsters are, the more kind of her cup gets filled.
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the start of her story, which is crazy because she's still looking crazy young here. So yeah,
Well, I
she's
just mean I
definitely
think it's
been
time in
she's been doing
general.
this for a long time. Yes, it's that, but like she like at this age, like we see her. I don't know what year this is or how much in the past this is, but we know Divinity. She's kind of like she's a younger woman now, but
Yeah,
still
yeah,
at this time she is a kid. So
yeah.
she
So like, was
definitely
she
has
killing
experience in
people
this.
like Erica Slaughter style at like 7 or however old Erica was? Like, who
It
knows?
seems like it, which
Which
is
is a
pretty
lot.
crazy. Yeah,
Would she
that
start
is
with like
pretty crazy.
leprechauns or smaller bounties? I don't know what she was killing as a kid. I think that'd be interesting to explore
We need
going
to see
forward.
that.
I joke, but who knows? So yeah, that was a cool opening, and I'm glad we actually get to see more of that, and we have kind of a bookend with that later on. So we'll get
Yeah,
back to that.
and we'll definitely be seeing. I think Mike is definitely going to be a bigger character. They're going to be going, I hope, more into the perfection. What's that all about? We know kind of the Raven Queen, the Aviary seem
Yeah,
to be kind of nemesises with the
yeah,
perfection, which is kind of also could be a
yeah.
cool story to kind
I
of
like that we have factions. That's cool.
explore. Yeah, yeah,
And there's the Blood
exactly.
Moon family and all that stuff. So we do have various factions here. 24 issues in, we've got, we've talked up the Rogue Sun Rogue Gallery quite a bit, and it continues to kick ass in these last like 3 issues as we got, 6 issues with Divinity and some great.
Yeah, and yeah, we flip here and we finally kind of get to learn about more the ascension. We had lots of questions about what this ascension could be in the aviary, what's going on. There's been a lot of backstabbing and a lot of shady things going on in the
Mm.
aviary. But yeah, here it just to me it seems just like a ritual of kind of getting new Sparrow sisters and kind of appointing new members of
Yeah.
the aviary. But yeah, this is definitely a cool place here, and we do learn also. It seems like going to be a story that could come up later. I to me, it kind of seemed like they were talking about the original Raven Queen here, but
Mm.
pretty much they said so. Yeah, 400 years ago, an evil lord murdered his brother and stole his land. He wanted to ensure his claim, so he attempted to kill the last baby, like this last baby, the heir to the throne, which was his
Mm.
nephew. But thankfully, this baby's been hidden away,
Mm.
and the only person who knows who this baby is this simple peasant woman. Um, so this guy he chained this girl up to a tree, tied her up to a tree, and just day after day he would go over and ask the woman to reveal her secrets. But I guess at that point, this is when a raven kind of swooped over and I guess kind of scouted her out here, landed on the
Mm.
tree and spoke. Was and he basically said, "You rebuff evil and love with compassion." You may have been born a peasant, but I say to you, you are a queen. So to me, this could be the first origin of the first Raven Queen, which I found was super, super interesting. I just love this story. I'm
Yeah.
curious if we're going to find out who this kid was who was saved. We do know the child is still safe and was never found. So what do you think about this?
I think it's interesting. 400 years ago, like how long ago was Caleb around? Was it
I
600
that
years?
that was the first thought that came to my head actually, and yeah,
Yeah.
I just did check, and that's at 700 years.
Okay, okay. Because spoiler alert, Caleb, is coming back with a vengeance for sure in the storyline. We didn't think we were
Hundred
done with him.
hundred percent.
But yeah, I think that's very interesting, and obviously it sounds like Ryan's got an idea of that, and it'd be cool to see that in action, right? I don't know, it's interesting. I like that story and how like the aviary is just kind of like seems like it's for these women that have been screwed over, by it's the idea of she's like tied to a tree called a witch or whatever, and then gets finds this place of solitude. It's kind of nice, and it's almost like the Benny Gesserit from Dune. I don't know how familiar you are with Dune, but
Yep,
I
yep.
like that idea of like the same thing with Littlefinger and Varys in Game of Thrones, like just having all the information and playing everyone like a chessboard and stuff like that. I like that in these concepts of not that that's what they do, but well, in some cases they do, depending on who the Raven Queen is or who's in power, right? But I think it's interesting whether they can use that information to, as they use it as their power, right? They don't really have to influence
Yep.
too heavily. Well, they do influence. They don't have to physically kill people. They can just, kind of like plant seeds and hear everything.
Yeah, yeah. They aren't directly involved and change things. They know these things. Kind of like the Watcher, too in the way.
Mm,
But yeah,
yeah,
I thought it was also cool that these it seems like these ravens were kind of were the ones to recruit the Raven Queen. Like the actual birds themselves could have actually been the
yeah,
ones to kind of start this whole thing, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I hope we definitely go more into that and learn more about her. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool story. Um, but yeah, we get back to the Ascension here, and three Sparrow sisters are kind of being recruited,
mm,
and yeah, like we said, their task is to keep the secrets of the gods, of gods and men, but to learn them, bear them, and when the time comes, then they wield them. So I guess we haven't seen what that side of it means, but that's pretty interesting. But then we get the aviness. Kind of this girl in here. I'm not sure
yeah,
completely what her relation is to the Raven Queen, but she just comes right in. We know she's been up to no good
mm,
with the Palestine. But yeah, she just comes in here and completely just gets in the middle of things and said, yeah, it's a shame. You don't practice how like you preach it kind of thing.
mm,
Um, but yeah, she basically wants to take all the power from her, and we've kind of seen her motivations,
yeah.
which is super interesting.
Yeah, this was all right. I gotta be honest, like I'm not huge on the whole like the apiary thing. It feels like it's nice to see it. It's kind of like a slow burn. Like it's not my favorite Rogue Sun storyline. I don't hate it by any means, but just like the breaks in between issues kind of made it seem like it's gone on longer than it has, and it's nice to see it resolved. Like it's not like I hate it or anything like that, but it's a lot of okay, you screwed me over, and then whatever. Like it's good, and it adds fleshes out the aviary, but like I'm not like it's not my favorite thing that we're doing right now.
That is completely fair, and yeah, I think we didn't really 100% get to know her motivations, other than yeah, a lot of people don't like the way the Raven Queen does things, which makes
Yeah.
sense. I guess she's kind of aligned herself with a lot of men outside, like Rogue Sun, so a lot of people don't like that. But yeah, definitely can't blame you for thinking that. But yeah, the aviness kind of comes inside and kind of is. I don't know, not jealous, but just mad at the Raven Queen for not using kind of all the power the aviary could possess. She
Mm.
thinks she's kind of yeah, not doing things the right way. But to me, it kind of seems like the Raven Queen is using it, kind of like the original Raven Queen was kind of wanting.
Mm.
So yeah, this girl definitely does seem like kind of a tyrant here. So she definitely comes in and just brings the Philistine in and starts going to work and just starts murdering a bunch of these guards, and yeah, just chaos
Yeah.
ensues from here.
He reminds me of the guy from League. I forget his name, but he like hops out of the shadows with these hooks and stuff like that. He's like not like Jack the Ripper. I forget his name. Bash would know. And he kind of yeah, I like that design in the Philistine here. I think he's cool. He's not like the most dynamic villain of all time, but hiding the shadows reminds me of the Invincible fight and stuff like that. Not to bring up Invincible for the 50th time. Also, one other thing, I think it'd be really cool if I don't know about the branding, but if there's like smaller stories in the Massiverse that aren't enough for one issue, it would be cool to have, or like a series, it would be cool to have like Tales of the Aviary with like anthology tales in the Massiverse or smaller stories that we might not find pages for. But I said it, so we can't do it now unless I get paid. So, but no, I think that'd be neat. I just like
That would be cool.
planting seeds. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
100%.
the aviary. Just take that information and use it how you wish. But
Yeah,
yeah, this was
and that,
cool. It's nice to see Rogue
I,
Sun show up.
I'm curious the kind of what like the Philistine was promised. Like, why is he doing all this for the aviness? And I guess
Yeah,
she probably I don't know, it's just tempting him with power or whatnot.
we can always hear more later
Kind of
on.
the classic thing. But yeah, I definitely think we'll hear more later on because yeah, as we see, he's not really dead or by any means. But yeah, Rogue Sun definitely does go to town. So yeah, so here we like the Philistine or the Avianess says, I know none of you wanted this, but yeah, she's kind of declared that she wants to take the throne, but the Raven Queen kind of just says, and like she says, I have a lot more people behind me than you think. So
Hmm.
a lot of people do back her. We know a lot of people were kind of backstabbing the Raven Queen
Yeah,
and not really on her side, but at the same time, I think she does have a lot of supporters. And so yeah, that
yeah.
kind of puts something interesting into it. At least it's
Yeah,
not everyone, you know what I mean?
it's like any political strife. Like a lot of people don't
Yeah,
want to reveal their place necessarily, but they might agree, but they don't espouse it all the time. But a lot of people are like, no, I'm cool with the way things are. But if it's
yep,
taken from me, I'll speak up. But like right now, I might be quieter about it. Right. So I think that's interesting and pretty realistic to how it would probably play out had there been a fictional, bird realm on Earth. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. And we get Dylan finally making a cool entrance here.
yeah,
And yeah, Marcus is not impressed with his with all his quips like always, but yeah, no, this is an awesome fight, just like the yin and yang, the two opposites, the light of the fire versus like the darkness and the shadows.
yeah. The
It's
fire
such
stands
a
out a
cool
lot.
fight. It
Feel
really
like
does.
Roxon stands out. He usually does, obviously, because it's his book. But like, see, the juxtaposition between that and the dark colors really stood out, especially in the beginning of this issue. And the big thing that happened in this fight, what we'll remember this fight for being, is the first time that he gets to wield, I guess, a weapon of his own. Is he getting a Morning Star at some point? Like, it looks like this is going to come back.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is cool, and I think I don't know. It did look like Marcus had a lot to do with this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and that I didn't know really that that kind of Marcus had this much influence on Rogue Sun and his powers, which is also kind of
Yeah,
cool. Like he's just kind of been standing back, not doing anything for now, but it shows how much power he can do and how much he
yeah,
can help Dylan. But we do find out why, which is
yeah.
also
Makes
a cool
sense.
moment later. Yeah, yeah,
But
a
yeah, he
cool
had the
moment
child
later
control
for
lock
sure.
on this whole time, basically, to make sure
Hundred
that
percent.
he's not getting the back door. He's not going to watch what he doesn't want to watch on TV. But it's cool, and
Yeah,
you get it, right? Like, I mean, we could just talk about it. Like, he doesn't want him to get killed by Morningstar. That makes sense. That Marcus is worried about his son. I think a lot of parents would, even if they feel like their kids are capable. They know Morningstar is a big deal, and it makes perfect sense because Dylan, as much as he's grown, is still incredibly immature and can get his ass kicked if they're not dealing with if they're dealing with something that's bigger than he can handle. And Morningstar would be that.
yeah.
And but also Marcus knows his son, so he's like he knows he can't stop him either way, so he may as well be in the best shape he can be to fight him.
You know, I actually did see that in two different ways. I saw that for sure, like you said it completely. I think that makes the most sense. But also, I always go back to that flip book page of Marcus saying like, "Oh, if Dylan knew what I was up to, like he would never trust me again."
Hmm.
I'm wondering if he's hiding something from like Morningstar, like he's trying to hide him from something.
Hmm.
I have no idea. Obviously, yeah, it could be the danger. But yeah, I hope Marcus doesn't end up being more like, I don't know, more evil than he lets on. But
Yeah.
we've seen how guilty he is all the time. Like even the
Mhm.
Raven Queen said it last issue. He's hiding all these secrets.
Yeah, and she must
So
know of them, right? And maybe
I
because they help each other and we're allies, that she's holding on to those
it actually
secrets,
seems
or
like, or I think last issue she said like even she did, like even she couldn't get it out of him. So
oh, okay.
he's definitely holding on to some dark secrets that I am
Mm,
very very curious about. But
yeah.
obviously it doesn't seem like he's this like that
Mm,
old to be tied to like these things like 400 years
yeah.
ago or set like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
has been going on for a long time. But yeah, I definitely still think he's hiding a lot, and he knows a lot more about Morningstar than he's letting on for sure.
Yeah.
Also a quick point I really did want to say quick was in this fight with Philistine. I think this was the first time where like Dylan's actually bleeding within this suit. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah, he's
taken
getting stabbed.
damage.
He's getting cut
Yeah,
up.
this is the first time he's bleeding, and you see like his blood going through the cracks of fire and kind
Yeah.
of going down. So yeah, this is definitely could be the most formidable villain he's ever seen, which could be why Marcus gives him a helping hand here.
Yeah, which you need some range on Stab McStabberson here. And the Morningstar, they mentioned how it's the same name as Morningstar. It's a cute little touch there with the weapon. So I think that's interesting. And it's good he finally gets a weapon, like I think has he used it was with Caleb that he used the weapon, right? So he wasn't even in control of that when he was using the sword with Caleb.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is more
100%.
his. And it's cool that he finally got to use this. Like, it's nice to see him get a win and actually, he said to Blackfire and stuff like that, but it's nice to see finally our knight with his weapon here.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, before we kind of go to the end of this battle, it does cut back to Dottie finally being
Yeah.
resurrected, like we said. Something we definitely should have seen coming. I was definitely hoping for it, but the death was very well done.
It
So
was
it
it was
was
a
kind
sudden
of,
death too, so it's
it
like
was.
it wasn't even the finale of it. It was like penultimate before the finale of a run, but yeah, or yeah, that's just it was weird, and I'm surprised we didn't see it. So even sometimes things that seem predictable managed to slide right by.
Yeah, for sure. And Dottie right away she wakes up and she's not too happy. Like I'm sure she's relieved to be alive, but she knows something happened. She wakes up and she yells Micah and she says, Micah, like what have you done?
Yeah,
They've kind of revealed here that Divinity. Um, so yeah, Dottie doesn't have to work for the perfection like Divinity did. She can go home, but Divinity did make another deal that was not revealed yet. But yeah, it kind of trapped her back, which is also weird too because I remember last issue Dottie gave like her whole shop to Divinity,
mm.
and the weird part was like if Divinity keeps having to pull these monsters back for like extra life, like I don't think she could have just sustained just living at this other shop and kind of having a happily ever
Mm.
after. Like it doesn't really seem like this for Divinity anymore, which is tough.
Could she just trade in the ones that are in the gemstone? Like, does that count for time?
I guess she maybe could. Yeah, I wonder what the perfection actually does with them. Maybe because I know Dottie does, like, we've seen the therapy sessions, like, Dottie
Yeah,
likes to give these people a
rehabilitation.
chance.
Yeah,
And I'm sure the perfection isn't quite so nice with these people.
they
That's
might.
my guess.
Yeah,
Maybe they just burn them or
yeah, just
like
purge them from
completely get
existence.
rid of. Yeah, completely get rid of them.
That's my
Which is
assumption.
interesting. Which is
I don't
interesting.
know
But yeah, yeah.
if they work for Morningstar or not. Like, I don't know what the bet is. Like, if they're
Mm.
aligned with Morningstar, I wouldn't think that it's if they're not, I would think that maybe Divinity has to get Morningstar, like the ultimate big bad, for her to get that extra time or to make it worth it. But I don't know if they are aligned with Morningstar. Obviously, they wouldn't do that. What do you think? What do you think she offered to get Dottie back?
Oh, man, it's tough because like she almost offered like the rest of her life, like she which she already did. Like she's already pretty much dedicated her
Yeah,
life to the perfection. So I'm not 100% sure. Like maybe she's gonna take her place beside Micah and kind of I don't know
yeah,
have more responsibilities in the perfection and get more involved and actually have to stay there. Maybe she'll
yeah.
actually have to live there and stay as opposed to
Or maybe
I don't know.
recruit people. Who knows, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think her role is definitely gonna definitely going to go up, which is very interesting because I think this is where like Divinity and Mark or Dylan and the Aviary are definitely gonna butt some heads, and I think we could see Divinity and Dylan kind of scrap it out at some point, which could
I
be
can
which could be pretty sad.
Yeah, I can see Divinity breaking free though, and eventually just joining our squad here. Like her and Brock,
I
I'd love
definitely
to
hope
see
so.
them talk. Right, her and Brock, Battle of the Shenarkias characters,
I
and
definitely hope so.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that would be
Ori too.
fun. That would
Yeah,
be a lot of fun.
yeah. I feel like
So
there's a lot of these bad guys kind of have like a lighter side to them. Like Finnegan Root doesn't seem all bad, even though he seems like he's got a soft side, even if he's just like dealing drugs to children. Uh, no, this issue had a lot going on. We got the Morning Star. We got Dottie coming back to life. Thank goodness, so we don't have to mourn her. And there's another big reveal going on. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it.
yeah, there was kind of at the end. But
Yeah,
yeah, also yeah, to kind of end this off, like Divinity, she really says like, so my mother begged you to save me, which she really did, but right when she saw what I became, she was just thrown out, which is pretty interesting. But
it's
I
Pet
like she
Cemetery
wanted her
stuff.
alive
Yeah,
by any means, but I guess she couldn't just comprehend like what could have actually happened to her, which did, but she Divinity says like I'm alive because of you today, and you're the closest thing I have left to a mother. So it didn't matter what she had to give up, because Dottie was worth it, to her by any means.
yeah,
So that was kind of a nice line. I guess Dottie gets free to go, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens to Divinity, going forward. But yeah, back to this fight here. Rogue Sun, yeah, Dylan's getting the crap beat out of him. He's got his hand like stuck in a black hole or something. Not in a black hole, but a wall of shadow, like
yeah.
darkness, which is pretty cool.
I can
So
make
yeah,
another
and
Dune
then
reference, but yeah, and then
yeah,
of course we need a reason to get out of there and get a weapon, and it worked.
this was super cool, and it looks like first he pulls out just it's kind of like a mace, like or not a mace, but he pulls out just the stick with the ball at the end,
Yeah, which is basically
and
like a
and he,
mace. Yeah,
yeah, and then right after that, you get to see Marcus kind of do some Doctor Strange magic there,
yeah,
and give this whole thing a chain, which creates it into to the Morning Star, which is kind of a funny weapon for many reasons, but yeah, he
yeah,
goes to town with this thing. He's definitely been handicapped. Big time, and yeah, it's just super cool. He definitely
yeah.
didn't have a tough time fighting him after this.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of badassery, but there's still a lot of cool stuff in the tool chest and
Hmm.
toolbox, war chest is what I meant as well. But no, this was great, right? We finally got the weapon, and the way this arc ended. Not to skip ahead, but I feel a lot of us thought there might be like a Morningstar face off at this point in the book, but no, and I don't feel like we're missing that because so much did happen in this issue, and we have so many good threads that I want to follow. That I'm even more hyped to see the morning stuff going forward, and I assume we'll get there by 50 at the very least.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So Dylan here, he doesn't want to kill the Palestine. It's not really his thing. He says that murder is more for the Philistines' profession. So he just goes to town and just starts beating the crap out of him and just
The
leaves him
classic
there.
Batman: I'll leave you alive, but I'll like break every bone in your body.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, he just leaves him there. We don't get to see what happens with the Philistine.
Hmm.
Maybe he's put into some cool prison or whatnot. But yeah, we go back to the Aviness who is finally captured, and this kind of page does set up a lot. Whereas the
Yeah.
Aviness, she should die, but instead they're gonna strip her powers, kind of wipe her memory and banish her to the natural world. Um, and she kind of she's like she knows it's coming, so I guess she's not too surprised. But the Raven Queen says, if you ever step foot in here again, I'm gonna execute myself. And that's where the Aviness says, you think I did this all alone? There are vultures in this flock, your highness, sleep well. So although kind of the heavy hitters kind of taken out and done
Yeah.
for, there's still a lot of people not on the Raven Queen side in the aviary. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before like one other kind of steps up and takes her place,
Or
which is
even if there
scary.
isn't, it's not. It's that one final last like thing of doubt, to the last seed of doubt that she's planning to maybe make come have
Yeah.
things come undone. But I do lean where your point of yeah, there's probably a few people that are questioning her authority, and even this moment when they see how easily it almost crumbled with a few of their numbers turning on them, that maybe more people would have doubts going forward.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, that's the end of all the aviary stuff. So yeah, we go back to Marcus and then Dylan here, and this was great. So Dylan doesn't really believe it's called a morning star, which is kind of funny, and he's
Yeah,
just said, "Yeah, screw that. I'm just gonna call it Vanessa,"
which is
which
weird.
is awesome, which is weird, but it's awesome. He's gonna bring that up every time, and it's gonna be kind of
Yeah,
funny, I
it's
think.
such a Star Lord thing to do, or something like that. Like, I don't know, it's cute. You know, he's Vanessa's obviously still in his mind, even though she's appeared in like 4 issues. No, no, but yeah, that's kind of cool, and it's a Dylan thing to do. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, yeah, this is where Marcus reveals like, basically Dylan's asking him seriously like, what possible reason could you have for not showing me this before? And this is finally where Marcus says, because I don't want you to face Morningstar. You want an answer? There's your answer. So I do think it could be two meanings. It's like he doesn't want Dylan to face Morningstar because he doesn't want him to get hurt, but I do also think there is some other meaning why he doesn't want him to face Morningstar, which I'm excited to see because yeah, we do know Marcus still has lots of secrets. But yeah, no, at this point it does seem like Marcus is going to help him out, so which is cool, and it did give Dylan time to kind of perfect all of his other powers, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Like he's definitely had some good training up till this point. If he kind of relied on these tools, I think it definitely could have hurt him in the end.
I just realized the Rogue Sun helmet, the light up part, kind of looks like the Quake logo, which is cool. If people know what Quake is, which is not a bad thing. It looks cool. Yeah, it is nice and to see Marcus and Dylan on the same page again of him teaching him and over getting, getting over that his dad's probably not going to hinder his growth now as much, right? Because he knows he's not going to stop him from getting stronger, and he probably wants him to be stronger now, so that the soon like Morningstar is going to strike sooner rather than later. So he'd rather get as much training in as possible. So I think this could help, and we could see the most powerful Rogue Sun we've seen in the pages so far. And I think that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, Dylan, he's kind of he's ready here. But I guess the next arc, he's basically saying there's still a lot to learn. Like what he is, who are his enemies and his allies, and he wants to train a little bit with Vanessa, which is kind of funny too. So Marcus,
Yeah,
he's smiling here finally, and he's into it, and he says, "I know a few tricks. I'm ready to teach you." So yeah, this is kind of then it leads off. It shows it does show Dottie back at the oh shoot, what's it
Peregrine
called?
jewelry or
Yeah, Perrine
Pretty.
Jewelry,
That's it.
yes.
That's it.
And yeah, Divinity on the motorcycle, kind of. It does look like, yeah, actually, yeah. Now that I see it, it doesn't look like she has to stay there. Maybe she's just back to her old ways, trying to hunt down monsters.
Yeah.
Um, she's back on the bike doing that kind of stuff, and the Raven Queen is back at Aaron Golder's grave, the girl who got assassinated a few issues ago. So I
Hmm.
guess she still does feel that guilt, and the aviness kind of threw that at her, like, oh, if you were a better queen, like Aaron wouldn't be dead. So yeah, I do think definitely the Raven Queen is guilty.
And what's that? A dove
Which,
with her, right, on the tombstone. So
yeah,
it's cool to see a different kind of bird.
that's cool. Yeah, no, that
Kind of
is
the
very
opposite,
cool.
I guess, of the raven. The dove is like a little, not the ravens are like the bird of war, but doves are like peace and kind of like a pleasant kind of thing, whereas ravens have
Wonder if that
more
means anything.
sinister.
Yeah, I wonder if that means anything. Maybe we'll
Uh,
get the Doves and the Ravens working together.
yeah, exactly. A little bit of dove and maybe some hawk and dove action. And
There
here
we
we
go.
get. I don't know if you guys talked about the news. This was revealed in Kyle's latest Black Market newsletter, right? That there's a new Rogue Sun in town, and we
Yeah.
know that the Marcus's other children have been really aching at the bit to chomping at the bit to get in on the Rogue Sun fun. And the first to do it is looking to be Ori. This cool, and this ending was really cool. What'd you think?
Yeah. I kind of like, yeah, this whole thing with Caleb, like kind of manifesting in Ari's brain, kind of just, yeah, went completely to the back of my head. Like I haven't really thought about it in a while.
Hmm.
Which is super cool how he brings it back around, and
Hmm.
kind of Ari just wakes up here not knowing how she got here. So it does look like Caleb has a lot more control. of Ari's body than she did Dylan, or anyone. She can kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, move her around, which is kind of which is scary to see where that's gonna go. But just gets Ari to start digging, and this is where she. I'm not sure exactly what this is. It seems like a sunstone, but it's like a mini. It seems like a mini sunstone.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
really sure. Like we've always been under the assumption there's been one of these things,
Yeah.
kind of per era, and it's passed down. So I'm very curious what this thing is. Like, is it another one? Did Caleb find the power to duplicate this thing, or what? But yeah,
It's
I
from the ground. Could
find
it be
that
some
very
kind of
interesting.
seed or something that can replicate powers
You know, it kind of
temporarily?
does
Like
look like a seed. Like it doesn't look like the stone,
it also
um,
could just be a
like
stone,
Dylan's
but
does.
yeah, it is like it's more of an oval. I don't know. I'd have to look at them side by side, but it is interesting nonetheless. And having Caleb in control, I don't know how we're gonna explain how he's a rogue son to her, or he's gonna explain to Dylan how she's rogue son now or has these abilities, right? Like they're gonna catch on. Marcus must think it's suspicious, right? To have two at the same time that aren't in like the Sunstone itself. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not ready to see these guys fight. But I think it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
curious, like, does Caleb have complete control of her right now? I guess not, but
I don't,
yeah,
maybe
I'm
she was
wondering.
asleep, and
Yeah,
because it was at
yeah,
night, so
that could be.
maybe
That could
while
be.
her mind is resting, Caleb can yeah
So
strike during the
yeah,
night.
maybe she might not even know this is happening. Like she's gonna be attacking Dylan, and like, yeah, she might not even know. But I think that could be a fun dynamic, where Dylan does see a new rogue son, and is super curious who it is, but Ari is either hiding it, or yeah, doesn't even consciously know herself that she's doing these kind of things.
Yeah, all she says is, "Hmm, what the? Where am I?" She doesn't even like say anything. He's like, "But now we'll make you a knight, and you and I have so much to do together, right?" Like it doesn't seem like that, and also her facial expression just kind of seems like she's not really in control, or she doesn't seem like she has a purpose. She just kind of seems like she's looking forward and not really, maybe not purpose, but control at the very least, or
Yeah.
I'll think of the word. Also, it looks like the Morning Star is coming back as we see the cover for issue 25, right? And but the whole thing is on fire, the chain and the
Yeah, with the green fire.
yeah. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that looks super cool. That does look super cool.
So
A
we're
little
yeah
longer
we're
chain here, and yeah, we also get the green fire. It could be just lighting, but the green fire behind all this stuff, which could mean Morning Stars gonna be coming sooner than we think too.
yeah
But yeah, no, and Stefano back obviously on the cover art for a bit. But yeah, this was a super cool ending. We knew it was coming. I was curious if she was going to be borrowing Dylan's Sunstone for a
yeah
bit, but I think this will be a super fun dynamic to explore, 100%.
yeah,
Um,
double
so
trouble.
yeah, yeah, we got to wait a bit, unfortunately, March 2025, but it'll be worth it. And in the letters, he does kind of say this will be the new norm. So they're gonna do an arc, and then take a couple month break, and then do an arc, and then a couple month break, which I think is a good way to do things,
We're
rather
basically getting a
than
soft
take.
reboot, right, of the
Yeah.
massive verse, where like a lot of things we want to
Yes.
get back on track. This year there was a lot of projects that came out, a lot of greatness, but also there was, I think it was the least amount of massive verse books that have dropped in a couple of years or something like that, just because of a lot of circumstances, right? A lot of other books that they're working on, as well as a Catalyst War, which was that must they nailed it, but that must have taken a lot of time to do two issues at once. So yeah, there was maybe a bit of growing pains, maybe a bit of whatever, but if you binge this content, it's as good as anything that's come out.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that this is going to be a great path going forward. And the only issue I have is the banners, which are also kind of growing on me. If you can look from across the room
Really,
and kind of see,
really,
not, I don't
wow.
like them yet, but I
They're
see their
growing.
purpose. Like Abed in the end of the first episode, Community, I see your value now. I get it. If
Okay.
you're across the room, you can see that like border, almost like a golden book or something like that, and the kids, looking at children's books, like it's an indicator. The brain, it signifies these books are together, and
Yeah.
if you like it, it stands out more. And if it fails, I'm totally down to see the covers in all their glory again. So whatever. If it gets more
That's
eyes on the
fair.
book, it works. And if it doesn't, whatever. In the end, it doesn't really matter that much as long as what's in the book is fantastic.
That's fair. Yeah, that's the important part. And yeah, back to kind of the delay thing. I would way rather see that planned delay or a delay kind of at the end of a more satisfying arc, having kind of a better ending than kind of more of an unplanned break, kind of just in the middle of a cliffhanger or two issues that weren't planned to
Hmm.
be there because everything's so hectic.
And Radiant
So
Black's February, right? Comes back in
Radiant Black's
February.
February. Yep, and yeah, I
Cool.
believe they have said they do want these ones I kind of like you said to be more jumping on points, like they're new arcs, but they want these ones to kind of be fresh starts, new jumping on points.
Hmm.
We do see like the Radiant Black returns. So yeah, I'm curious how much kind of I don't know describing or I don't know the word for it, but how much they're going to summarize kind of the previous stuff in the arcs in this, or are they just going to kind of go with the new arcs and you kind of don't have to know
Yeah.
much previous? But I think that is exciting, and I think 25 is a good issue to do that on,
Yeah.
100%. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I had. Yeah, so we gotta wait till we'll have Vicarious to keep us busy until then.
Yeah.
Radiant Black's coming back soon, man. It's only I don't know, like 2 months away now, so we're
Yeah.
getting there quick. And
We'll have some stuff for you guys too, to make the break a little more manageable. Whether it's trivia or some other fun stuff, we'll get you guys hooked up with some stuff to make it so you're not, no one likes these long breaks. They're annoying, but usually I just look at other stuff like Invincible drops in February too. So there's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, and this was a cool arc. This was a cool end of the arc. I was surprised, right? Like in my head, I didn't realize we were already at that point when I read it, and we got a lot of satisfying conclusions, and it doesn't feel cheap to bring Dottie back that way because there's going to be
yep,
consequences, which are only going to be a bigger strain on that bond with Divinity. So, yeah, I think we're building to a really good arc going forward, and we laid the groundwork for some cool stuff. Also, the Aviary, they're probably going to pick up some secrets on Morningstar and/or reveal the stuff about Marcus. I feel like that's a good tool to reveal one or the other.
yeah, that's a good show for sure. And yeah, hopefully maybe in the new year. I know we get Ryan on after the end of each arc, so
Yeah,
maybe we'll do this before Rogue Sun comes back. But yeah, always a blast to talk to him about that. And
yeah.
I did want to shout out the Patreons too. Um, I forget all. Yeah, I forget everyone, but shout out to you guys.
Here's
We
the move.
do.
You just go
What's
to
that?
the end of an episode on YouTube and look at the wall on the Red and Black.
There you
That's the
go.
move.
There you
No,
go.
anyways, but no, thanks to our patrons. We love you guys, even if we're not going to name you off the top of our heads. I think Jordan's one of them.
Yeah, I didn't want to start and then like
Start
miss like
guessing.
one person. You know what I mean. I
Yeah,
just
of
didn't
course
want to
I
miss
wasn't
one
worried
person,
about my
but
mistake. I just walked right into that
that
ring.
that's
But
that's
no,
totally true. But yeah, we're definitely gonna try to get a lot more things for you guys in the new year. Like we're gonna be recording just like a short Patreon exclusive on the Cowl movie at some point, Kyle's first short film, and kind of just do some small fun things like that, just for you guys to show our love and just how much we appreciate your guys' support. And yeah, definitely hit a like or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave a review if you're listening to this on podcasts, and really appreciate everyone. Yeah, just listening. What
let us know what you thought on the with the aviary. Like seriously, anything that you thought that came to you, let us know in the comments. Tweet at us. Like the YouTube video if you enjoyed what we do, or join the Patreon if you want us to forget your name in the future. But no, we're continuously looking on ways to pump up the Patreon. We've got more Patreon episodes on the way, and we'll do some polls up there so you can tell us what you want us to cover, right? Because this is a show, for Radiant Black fans or Rogue Sun fans, Radiant Black fans, Massiveverse fans in general, and give us some ideas. What do you want to hear? Let us know.
100%. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the new year. Have a happy new year. Hope everyone had a good holiday and stay roasty.